Hi pals! First of all, I want to just apologise for any noise you might hear during this intro. At the moment we are doing a little bit of renovation in our house, so there's a little bit of noise happening, and I have Burb here with me because I don't want her to be smelling paint fumes or anything like that. So, oh, thanks. Thank you for that bite. So if you hear little bird chirps or anything construction related, that's why. Today I'm going to be doing something that's a little bit different to what I usually do, and basically speaking that is that I'm not going to be doing character art today. I'm going to sort of be doing a tattoo design, I suppose, but I don't know if it's actually going to be used as a tattoo so much as it is experimenting with my style a little bit and seeing what I'm able to come up with concept-wise. So I've mentioned Ellie a few times on this channel. You can see her in this video. Oh, okay. Apparently Burbo's losing it. Can you see? What? What? What is it? Yeah? You done? Alright. Thank you for that. What a demonstration. Okay. So I've mentioned Ellie a few times on this channel, namely in this video, and she also has her own YouTube, which I will link in the description down below and maybe in a card up there. Basically, Ellie sent me some photos of this Instagram run by a tattoo artist, and she was showing some flash pieces. I'm going to put them up on the screen somewhere here. And basically she said that she was really interested in this person's art and she would really love to get a tattoo by them, but even though they tag themselves as in Australia, in New South Wales, we don't live in New South Wales, but she thought maybe we could make a road trip of it and she could go get a tattoo. But they actually live in the UK, so obviously with the whole pandemic situation, that's not exactly somewhere we can go right now. Even though we would love to make a trip of it and go get a tattoo, we can't. So I said to her, look, maybe you can buy some art from her and get a tattoo artist here to tattoo it for you, or alternatively, I could try and design a tattoo for you. I didn't want to make this in any kind of way pressure that she has to get it, because I am not a qualified tattoo artist. I haven't really dabbled in designing tattoos before, so if this doesn't turn out like that, that's fine, and she's given me permission to put it on my storenvy shop as a print. So if you're interested in what I come up with today, please feel free to have a look in the description down below where I have linked my storenvy, which is a new shop that I've opened up so that you all can buy my prints if you want them. They are all going to be A4 size at this point, and I haven't put up any of my originals, but if you're interested in different sizing options, or if you're interested in originals of my work, or if you're interested in commissions, please let me know. There is an option to contact me on the website, or you can leave a comment down below or message me directly through my Facebook, which I will also list down below, which I've also recently published, or you can send me a message through Instagram or email me. My business contact is simply mikscribbles@hotmail.com. So, with all of that out of the way, I am going to get to work. I'm going to show you the digital process because I decided to sketch it out on my iPad because I knew that there were going to be multiple elements and that I would like to maybe move them around and make sure that they fit in a way that I thought was cohesive, and yeah. So let's get started. So this voiceover is going to start off with another apology because, again, it's really hot and I'm going to have my fan on just like in my last video, so if you can hear that, I'm sorry. Anyway, initially I was going to do a digital sketch and then transfer it onto a piece of watercolor paper by tracing it, but I decided that I was confident enough not to do that, and also it does take a little bit of extra effort because typically I just trace over Procreate and then the screen can move around beneath what I'm trying to do. So I just did a freehand sketch which resulted in a little bit of erasing, but nothing that a little bit of paint couldn't fix. Also, the reason that I decided to start with a digital sketch was because I wanted to make sure that the composition of the piece was good and that everything sort of fit together nicely and cohesively, but I was surprised to find that I didn't really have to move too much around, and as it turns out, maybe one of the things that I am decently confident with is the composition of a piece and understanding where I should put stuff so that it flows. One thing I am not as confident with is making sure that all of those pieces actually fit onto the page, if that makes sense. So I feel like I'm pretty decent at fitting them together well, but less so at fitting them into the page itself. So that's where I was trying to be really conscious of what I was doing when I was putting down the sketch on an actual piece of watercolor paper. Also, initially I was going to go with a human skull that was actually a candle, but I decided to change that when I showed it to Ellie and she thought it was an ape skull, and I was like, that was not what I was going for. So I decided to change it to a cat skull instead, partially because I much prefer cat skulls and partially because I'm better at them than I am human skulls. So now I'm moving on to the actual painting, and you'll see that I've already got the sketch here. I decided not to film the process of that because there was a lot of erasing, and typically when I try to erase on camera it shakes the camera and it just doesn't make for easy watching. But yeah, I just use a col-erase pencil in red. And I debated starting off using fine liner because I thought that that might have an effect on the style of the painting, because I think that my style is heavily influenced by the fact that I do begin with the actual watercolor paint first and then I use more saturated watercolors to create the line art. But I decided to steer away from that because I didn't want to go too close to the original style of art, and I really do like how watercolor looks either lineless or with coloured lines or just less harsh lines than just black fine liner. So I went ahead with my regular process of putting down colours first, and I was really trying to make an effort to reference these colours and not use exactly the same colours as the artist uses that I'm referencing, but just to sort of go with the same sort of saturation, the same sort of colour spectrum. So specifically reddish and mustardy shades, as well as the purple, rather than making it a vivid, vibrant purple, which the kuretake, gansai, tambi watercolors do have. I decided to sort of desaturate them by adding different kinds of greys and umbers to them. And I think the leaves are actually my favourite part of this whole painting. I really like how the colours turned out and how I managed to get the blend going. Basically what I did was the same sort of method that I had been using for skin for a while, which was placing down a full wash of water and then going over that water with the colour that I wanted and blending them as I went. So you can see me doing that here. I laid down the raw umber colour and then I blended it out with water, and then before that water dried I added the sap green or olive green on top of it, and then that enabled me to blend back and forth. Also, one of the things that I changed from the sketch to the painting are these little sticks that you can see me painting in now. In the original sketch I decided that I was going to have little, I guess maybe cotton. I'm not really sure what the flower is, but I've seen it a few times. It could be cotton, it might not be, I'm not sure. But basically it would just be like this white little puff. And I was going to add that in at the end with my Posca, but I decided that I didn't want to because I wasn't confident that I could execute it in a way that I thought I wanted it to look in my head. So I was doing a lot of experimenting in this piece as it was, and I just didn't want to push it that extra step, which, I don't know, I don't think it needed it. I think that if I was to add a stark white in contrast to this colour scheme, it just wouldn't have worked. Why do you have to mow your lawn right now? I'm nearly finished. Just give me, could you not? Ugh. Okay, I closed my windows, but you might still be able to hear the lawn mowing, so I'm sorry. I just don't know what to do about it. It feels like every single time I try to do a voiceover, something like this happens. Okay, so I've started on the line art here, and basically how I do line art is to use a more saturated version of the colour that I am lining around. So for example with the skull, it's a watered down version of what I believe is the colour raw umber. So all I do with that is just put some of that colour into my palette and don't add as much water to it, and then I use that for the lines. Then I am using the metallic shades that are in the Tambi Gansai watercolours to first add a little bit of shine to her bangle and then to use the titles and the spines of the books. So throughout this painting I had a couple of moments where I thought that maybe I would use some darker shadows because I think that was really a defining element of this artist's style. But basically it was too bold, it was a little bit scary for me, and black does not pick up if you mess up, so I just wasn't confident enough to do that, and I thought that simply using the witchy elements and the colour scheme that I was using was sort of enough to get across the idea that I was trying to achieve. And in the end, I like how it turned out because I think it maintained more of my style even without having a character involved, and it just felt more true to my kind of art. At the very end here, I'm just adding some little stars to her bangles with my white Signo uni-ball gel pen, and I'm also adding a little bit of shine to the teeth. I don't know why, it's not like a skull would still have saliva on it, but I thought it looked cool, and yeah. That is the finished product. Also, if the lighting got a bit weird at the end there, I apologize. I ended up filming this pretty late into the night and my lighting situation was a bit weird, so I tried to lighten it up in editing. So hopefully that worked okay. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you like my videos in general, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I post a video. Please also be sure to check out my new storenvy if you have the time, and maybe even follow my Facebook page if you want to. Like I said in the intro, everything will be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week. Bye pals!